Hello, this is a Rupert. It's me, 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 it's me. Hello, hello, hello. Waiting. Hello, this is a Rupert. Yep, I can hear myself. It's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. I can hear myself. It's me. Hello, hello, hello. Waiting. Still listening to your voice. Yep, I can hear myself. It's me. No, can't hear it. Still can't hear it.
Tell me when you can hit. Okay, testing 1 2 3 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear my voice?
Hello and welcome to the Friday Feelings podcast. It is May the 22nd, 2020, and we have a Rupert and a Charlie. How are you doing, Charlie?
Hello, everyone. I'm good. How are you doing, Rupert?
Very, very well. And we are YMCA Norfolk. We're part of the Youth and Communities team, and we're here with your Friday Feelings podcast. We cover a range of youth groups all across Norfolk, from Kingsley and Yarmouth and Norwich being some of the main areas, going to Thetford and places like Acre as well. We're everywhere, aren't we, Charlie?
Everywhere.
Yeah, like a rash, really, but hopefully more positive and with a better outcome that doesn't result in you needing the doctors. So, Charlie, have you had a good... Well, it's been 2 weeks, really, since we did this last.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been busy, but it's been good. But then you'd know that as well because you do the same job I do.
I do indeed. Well, slightly different dynamics, but yes, we are. Today we've got a lot to get through. I'm not going to lie, the runtime for this is pretty long, but you're going to power through it and see how quickly we can get done. We're going to go through what we've been up to, some of our social media plans, some jargon busting. You've just prepared a game, and I've got my classic mustachioer question, and we're going to talk about what's been going on. So, Charlie, I know you've been doing some really interesting stuff over the last week or two and a few weekends. So, what have you been up to?
Well, the first thing I need to shout out is because we will be asked, is that I need to apologise. We've started the stream earlier at 5 o'clock due to circumstances beyond our control. But the podcast will stay online, so if someone does tune in at 6, they can still watch it. So it's all good in the hood. In terms of what I've been up to, Monday to Friday, I run the youth sessions with yourself. So about 90% of my day is spent making sure that the young people we work with are doing okay, supported, interacting, and then in between that I've been going out on my Boris walks, I've been shopping my essentials, and catching up with family online. What about you?
Positive. I have been playing some board games, been going out for more runs, and for the first time ever I took a little trip out, as it were. Went slightly further afield, not very far, mind you, but I took a very, very short trip out, and I did a little bit of bird watching, so I was very happy. Got a bit of fresher air on different pastures. That was lovely, as it were. Anything funny happened. I think, we're going to talk about it later, but on the gaming session today, I set the boat on fire because I left something in the oven for too long.
That was so annoying, because I'm sitting there, I thought we was being attacked, so I'm putting fire out, and I'd relax because I'd put it all out, turn around, and there'd be more fire. And then you casually just came into the kitchen area and just went, "Oh, burnt my chicken."
I think it was a snake, actually.
I
was trying to get.
Oh, yeah, I burnt my snake, and I realised you just left the oven running the whole time.
Yeah, I learned a valuable lesson this afternoon. Never leave your oven on when you're on board a floating ship, because especially if it's made of wood, it will burn. I suppose it's something I can replicate in life as well, really. I don't normally leave the oven on, but there we are. So you said you've been out for some walks. You've been looking after your well-being then, Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, one of the good things is that we run the Goya virtual activities, so I'm looking forward to getting out and doing some recording there, because it's going to be nice to put some sessions to benefit the young people on, but also just to take part in some pre-planned sports as well. But I also live in a very nice village, I must say, with a lot of heritage in it, so the walks around here are absolutely amazing.
Indeed, lovely place, actually, very nice indeed. So you've done some positive week stuff there, been out for some walks, and we can't wait for our active Norfolk stuff to really start hitting off on social media. There's quite a lot of exciting things on social media. I've really enjoyed your live updates on Wednesday, actually. They were very, very interesting. I did enjoy them. So let's power through and see what we can learn about the COVID-19 lockdown week. Have you done anything different in lockdown, Charlie? Have you got any updates for us?
Well, with the announcement that people can now go out for unlimited exercise, it's taken a lot of pressure off. I mean, I didn't notice how much pressure there was on going out once a day until you're given the permission to go out unlimited amount of times for exercise. because it felt like you had to pre-plan your entire day to make sure you didn't waste that valuable time. It felt like, I don't want to say it's like prison time, but kind of like, I'm guessing yard time. That's what it felt like. Now that option's gone, I'm a lot more relaxed. I mean, we're still in lockdown, we're still social distancing, but being able to go to the local park, being able to kick a football with somebody in my household, it's reduced a lot more stress.
I love how you're lockdown and prison yard time. Yeah. It's the longest yard, basically. Yeah. We'll be playing table tennis with a great Carly in our spare time. Absolutely priceless, indeed. So, Charlie, we always do this. What are the symptoms of the coronavirus, and what are the general lockdown rules? Fire them off for me.
Actually, this is a good one to do this week because there's been 2 new symptoms announced that we can now look out for. So the original symptoms...
Oh, you've caught me out already.
Were a temperature, high temperature, cold-like symptoms, dry cough, sore throat. But then they've also announced that if you lose the sense of taste, that can also be a unique and important symptom as well. Was it the sense of smell as well?
They go hand in hand, really.
Taste and smell. So if you lose your sense of taste and smell, that's also now being registered by the government as a...
It can be a sign.
Yeah.
It can be a possibility sign. Ironically, that's a funny story. I lost my sense of taste and smell a couple of weeks ago, but I was cleaning and managed to fill the airspace in my small ensuite bathroom with bleach, and to the point I physically couldn't breathe because it was so dense and thick in the air.
But you didn't inject it into your lungs?
No, there's no injection. I was just coughing for about half an hour, and I'd had a cup of coffee and I realised I couldn't taste anything. But there we go. Nice. I wouldn't recommend that, or COVID.
You're not meant to... I'm not going to lie. It's actually... I think it says on the bottle, do not use bleach in confined spaces.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. You should listen to instructions, Don't leave the oven on, don't inhale bleach. My lockdown's not really going very successfully.
It's not really a lockdown, is it? It's more like final rites for you.
just idiocy, really.
Your lockdown's going to end up in a coffin with no exercise regime if you don't sort yourself out.
Yeah, my yard time in prison is going to be nil point. But yes, we've heard. Obviously, the travel bans are still in place, really. Although we've had, I think, over 2 million people come back from abroad to sunny England, as it were, which is nice. 2 meters apart is still in place. And obviously, wash your hands. And what's our favourite song to wash our hands for?
Mr. Brightside or Happy Birthday.
Brightside. Happy Birthday. No, it's all Mr. Brightside, isn't it? I'm sure we're singing sea shanties for 20 seconds eventually. And of course, we learn the word asymptomatic as well. Which means?
It means that you can be a carrier of the virus without presenting any known symptoms.
Boom. Correct. Right. I'm going to fire straight into a game, Mr. Wall. Let's have our game music.
Oh, good point. Yep. I need to get faster at this when you say that. Where is that game music there? Okay, got
it. Right. Our game music is on, and I'm going to power through to I must ask you a question. Charlie will race against the clock and try and guess all of the answers on a card with a certain theme. So we had the 8 most poisonous fish last time. We had some numerical values or denominations or things of Monopoly or the notes. And this week we've got a few quite quirky cards, which I hope you're going to be able to answer for us. So I'm going to start off with a tricky one, Mr. Wall. There are 10 different pieces of kit and physical items needed to play an official game of football, minus the human beings and the pitch. Can you guess what they are?
10 pieces, yeah?
There are 10 different pieces of kit and physical items that you need to have an official game of football.
Okay, you need shin pads.
Correct.
You need football boots.
Correct, boots.
Do you need regulated studs in the boots?
No, just boots, just regulated boots.
Okay, 10 pieces. For football, the football.
Yep.
You need goals.
Correct. Posts and nets and a goal.
You need boundary lines.
You do need lines and corner flags. I'll give you that one.
How many more am I missing?
3. What about the person who runs the game?
ref.
Yeah, what does he have?
Whistle.
Yeah.
And he also has cards.
Correct.
Is that it? Or is
There's one more. You legally have to have a sub or injury time board, so the ref knows what's going on.
Oh, okay, cool.
Smashed that one.
I'm quite impressed by that.
Yeah, I thought that would throw you.
So the minute you said the word football, I was like, oh, that douche.
Okay, this will be. No, let's go to a different one. Let's go to 10 most popular flavours of Walker's crisps.
Alright, salt and vinegar.
Yep.
Ready salted.
Yep.
Cheese and onion.
Yep.
Prawn cocktail.
Prawn cocktail, yep.
Beef and onion.
Correct.
Chicken.
Chicken is one, yes.
Yeah, roast chicken. And it's going to be one they always sell. What else is there? There's 10 of them.
There's something barbecue.
Barbecue rib.
Yep. There's something sauce related.
Curry sauce.
Condiment, like a popular condiment.
Tomato ketchup.
Yeah.
That's a flavour. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then there's something you might have with fish and chips potentially. Maybe not. Pickled onions. You don't think you would have got that one potentially?
No, I wouldn't have got that at all.
I think you've done all of them. You've said cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, steak and onion. I think you missed out potentially.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm going to give you a really difficult one now. There are 9 types of brass stringed instruments in a symphony orchestra. Brass and string instruments.
Oh, okay. So you got the violin. You got the cello. You got the double bass.
Double bass.
You've got the trumpet, trombone. Sorry.
Yep.
Are they both 2 different instruments or both the
same? Trombone are different, correct.
Okay. You've got the oboe.
No.
Flute.
Brass and string.
Okay. Clarinet, violin, cello, double bass.
And in between a violin and a cello.
Something in between a violin and cello? I thought there was a violin, cello, double bass.
Double bass, you've got. No, there's a smaller one.
A viola?
Yes, and there's a massive wind instrument, like brass instrument, sorry.
Massive. Yeah, I think trumpet when I hear that.
There's a trumpet, horn, and a tuba.
Oh, tuba, that's the one. Trumpet horn.
You did very well. I think you only missed out like 2 or 3. Well done.
Here's a little guilty secret. Back when I lived in Essex and was in high school, I was part of an orchestra.
Oh! What did you play?
Violin, cello, and double bass.
Oh my giddy on. Well, there, fun fact of the day. End the podcast there. Wowee. You don't play anymore, do you?
I've still got my violin somewhere, but no.
That's amazing. Gosh.
If it's like riding a bike, then I probably might remember how to play the violin still. Maybe.
Oh, next week. I mean, that's a challenge.
Okay.
I don't want this game show music. I want you on the old fiddle little.
I'm just going to download the song of like the electric string orchestra and just go, there you go, ready?
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. Well, there is I Moustache your question, Charlie, and you smashed it. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes.
That's good. We're ahead of time. So, COVID updates. We've got a few to get
Hold
through.
on. Did you put extra time in just in case I struggled with your game?
I did indeed.
Okay, fair. Okay.
I've got to. You've just got to plan music, haven't you?
I'm turning off the game music now. That's an insult.
Sometimes you've got to go on for a while, but we've got to be short and sweet. Listeners don't want to be, wasting their time. Straight to COVID updates. That's what we want. So the schools unions have met in Downing Street last week. Number 10 advisors to listen and hear and attempt to plan for the returning of pupils. The plan currently is for June. But there's still apparently lots to change. They're thinking about their PPE, but they're not really sure if they're happy with the government's guidelines, because obviously the unions, they really hold power when it comes to teachers, and they will be strongly advised by them. And I think teachers won't do anything on their own, really.
Well, yeah, it was a tough time because the government's announced they're going back in June, primary schools, but they have to conform with social distancing and the COVID-19 guidelines, which Well, I've been to primary school once. I don't go anymore. Uh, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, like, my hat's off to the teachers and the schools because they've been given a very hard task to accomplish. And if they make it work, they've gone above and beyond more than they needed to.
Yeah, it's really, really challenging actually. Just to try and facilitate something that complicated for that number of people to go back in such a confined space. So we don't know what is going on, but number 10 is powering through and trying to facilitate as much as they can. Really.
Yep.
Can you guess? This is last week's statistic, but it's still valid. How many tests were done today?
Today?
Well, last Friday.
Over 100,000, wasn't it?
Yep, well over.
Well, last Friday?
Not well over.
I was about to say it's like 120,000, wasn't it?
Correct, 133,000. Over 2.5 million tests have been given out in this country. Unbelievable.
Well, what's helping is the fact they've now made it readily available to people over the age of 5 years old. People can actually start requesting the test. And the mobile units and the testing zones are also quite handy.
Very handy indeed. They've really stepped up what they are being able to offer us through the NHS for free, which is unbelievable, the amount of money and support that the government has given to us.
Yep, completely agree.
So that's positive. Charlie, can you guess what this word means? Cove anxiety.
I'm guessing it's a new word disorder for individuals that have are experiencing severe anxiety-related symptoms due to the COVID-19 outbreak.
Correct. And Healthy and at Home have developed a lifestyle, not cure, but they call it a cure. It's how to use breathing techniques to cure your anxiety. They've developed small, medium and large breathing techniques to support you. It's on the standard web link, and I'm just creating a poster to go out on our social media to, well, repost it, as it were, to support any listeners about coping with cove anxiety.
I'm now Googling, I'm having a look at them.
If you follow the script, I've actually linked it.
Was it Nursing Standard?
Just standard, www.standard.co.uk, lifestyle, healthy at home, how to use breathing techniques. There's a link in the script, and I'll follow a link on our social media websites.
Which comes to standard, actually, because this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. We're coming to the end of it now, so actually this is the best time.
Indeed, we had a really nice video go up about resilience on Thursday, which told you how to be resilient in lots of different ways and staying in touch with the family and friends, building up trust, and speaking out, not just breaking out your comfort zones, but making yourself stronger, which is nice. That was a really good video. Did you see it?
Is it the one that Ruth did?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. I was very impressed by that. Good job, Ruth.
Yeah, kudos. Okay, moving on.
So I need to check. Cove anxiety, is that a slang term, or is that now an official disorder?
It's not an official disorder, no. It's something that's just been created to target specifics of anxiety around COVID, lockdown, and illness. I don't believe the NHS go around diagnosing you.
No. Okay. I'm trying to find an actual disorder that fits that specification. I immediately thought hypochondriac, but that's somebody who actually thinks they have it. That's somebody who has the symptoms of an illness they don't actually have.
Yeah, that's probably quite negative. I think, people get very, very anxious about COVID, and they wouldn't go out of the house from it. We're going to come to some statistics about people leaving their homes and staying at home in a bit to sort of encourage you.
There you go. Found a little thing about it. Just been a little bit interested now. What are they? There's two versions, and what are they?
Go on.
Where have they gone? Stupid thing. Okay, so one of them is called, I'm just going to go back to the briefing, but somatic symptom disorder, where no, that's not right either. No, ignore me. I'm gonna.
Okay.
You can go.
We'll
I'm going to have a little look.
Research. Charlie, I've got questions.
Yeah.
Do you know? You're always good at answering these. Maybe just Google them in parallel time. Really, what are the 5 key tests that have been announced for the government that they want to see done?
What do you mean? What do you mean, like to test for COVID-19?
So there's 5 key factors to make sure that we keep below the line. And to make sure the government doesn't go above and beyond. They call them the 5 key tests. The first one is making sure the NHS can cope.
Making sure that our one rate is low.
That is a key test that they're trying to make sustainable.
There's also maintaining, improving on making contact with people who have been with people with COVID-19.
Yes. That is part of it, decreasing the infection to manageable levels and having a sustained and constant fall in daily death rates, which there has been.
Tell you what, that is a good question to ask me. If you'd asked me that about a week ago, I would have known these.
Because they only came out last week.
Yeah, I listened to that, but then it zoned out. It's the factors to determine the risk level, isn't it, of the country?
Indeed, that is it.
So it's NHS, it's...
the last 2, 4th, 5th.
I don't even know. No.
There's one about PPE to ensure supply and demand.
Yeah, and then there's... So we've said the NHS, PPE, reducing R factor 1, or R1 factor. Then we... it's tracing. That's the one. Contact tracing for COVID-19, and also reducing the spread. And
there's one important one which will impact how quickly we leave lockdown, or if we potentially go back in.
What? Just monitor the second peak.
Yes, second peak. Be confident that any adjustments to lockdown would not risk a second peak that could overwhelm or engulf the NHS. 5 key facts. Making sure the NHS can cope. Sustained and constant fall in the death rate. The R of infection to manageable levels. PPE is in supply. And confident that we wouldn't have a second peak. Those are the 5 key tests that Mr. Boris wants.
Yep. And all of those, they determine the risk level, don't they? Because we're currently at 3, and the more of those we can achieve, the lower the level goes down.
Yeah. So, do you know the 5 levels? Green to red.
Yeah, 1 means that virus is non-existent, or virus pandemic is over. Number 5 means NHS is at critical risk of collapse.
So it's a material risk of healthcare services being overwhelmed, and there will be extremely strict social distancing. Now, apparently, we haven't got to that point. We've been on the cusp of it, but we've been at just above level 4, apparently, which is a high or rising level of transition with enforced social distancing parameters. Level 3 and 2?
Level 3 is what we're currently in, which is we've got data suggesting that infection and death rate is starting to drop.
Yep, that's it. A general circulation with social distancing being relaxed. And number 2 is just the number of cases of transmission are low, and there's very minimal social distancing.
Yep, I mean, we're going the right way. It's, like you said, if it was 5, would be in complete lockdown. And when you hear that from Boris Johnson, I think it's hard to imagine. And in my head, I imagine the kind of lockdown China went on. For another 5. And to give you, if you ever want an example of how big that lockdown was, just look at YouTube videos of where people explored Shanghai or somewhere like that, or Wuhan City during lockdown. It went from a hustling, busy environment to dead in a matter of a week, I think it was. But we're at 3, which is good. They've just introduced that new app, or they introduced it about a week ago, and they're trying it in Isle of Wight.
Oh, I know this app. It's
Yeah.
where you hold your phone out to someone, and if they get too close, it goes beep 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 beep. Beep.
No. It's the one that the government are using to track. So someone is, if you, it tracks your people you've interacted with. So it uses the Bluetooth on your phone to grab other people's Bluetooth. So if, say for instance, me and you hanged out and then you got COVID-19, the app would then tell the government, or tell me, I don't really know how it works exactly, that I've been in contact with COVID-19, and it helps with track and trace to prevent the spread.
I suppose people would see that as a bit of a breach of rights, but I suppose they're not really thinking of it from that point of view.
It's been tested in Isle of Wight at the moment. It was announced on the radio. I think that was about a week and a half ago. They announced that.
A lot of interesting conversations could be brought up around that, but I understand what they're trying to do. Very interesting there. Maybe that's one I'll look into over the coming weeks. Next Friday, we'll see what I can find out about it.
Yeah. It's very interesting because if that works, that could help manage the level of infection whilst letting everyday society carry on.
Yeah, it's a bit of a forced issue, though, with access to location and people you're interacting with, isn't it?
It is, but then when you compare it to, like, for instance, Taiwan, which is one of the main countries that no longer presents a risk of COVID-19, they put their people into level 5 lockdown and would call people up twice a day on an automated service, checking they're at home.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a breach of breach of freedom, or whatever people would probably say, but it's still a better option than what could be used.
I think that is true. I think.
And ultimately, the only reason they can do that is because you ticked yes on sharing your data. If you don't want your data to be shared, you should tick no when you install your Android app or your iPhone's app. When you log into Facebook or you use Snapchat and show your location, you're agreeing to share your location with Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's the one. Okay, so can you guess, out of 10, how many adults said they had enough information to protect themselves in the recent weeks of lockdown measures? Out of 10, how many adults were satisfied they had enough information?
4?
No.
Was it more?
Double it.
What, 8 out of 10 people?
8 out of 10 surveyed people by the government, 80% were satisfied with the information about protecting themselves. So, as Charlie, you've said, the government have done really key things on Google when you type in COVID-19. Yep. All the sponsored ads they've done at the top. We've all had letters as well from the government, and the national addresses that have been done daily as well, even on weekends.
I'm not going to lie, I think it might just be me personally, but I think I'd be an 8 out of 10 at the point where we found a way of installing like a beacon above the heads of people that have it. Okay, at that point I'll be like, I think I'm comfortable now to go back to normal life.
What would you? Well, this is a spinning question. What would you have changed? Or what would you want?
Oh, what if
a beacon?
So if I was in charge of this process, what would have I done differently?
Yes.
Oh mate, oh god, I've been planning. I've got a great plan in my head. You have no idea. So I would have divided England into districts. So, think Hunger Games without the murder. Okay, so what would happen is I'll give you an example. Imagine where King's Lynn. Yeah, so King's Lynn's the main town. It's the main source to go do your essential shopping. I'd then call that the epicenter of a district, or the center of a district, and then I'd put a radius of villages. And what I'd do is I'd then give them a barcode, similar to what China did, and people could only travel within their districts. And then when there is a COVID-19 outbreak, you'd only have to lock down the district with the COVID-19 outbreak rather than the whole country. And it'd be easier to do tests because you go district by district and test everybody in the population within the district.
Mate, I am so glad you're not in power. Unbelievable.
It'd work. It'd be great. We'd be out of it within a year and a half.
That is. Do you remember? Have you seen Johnny English, the first one, when Pascal Sauvage wants to turn the UK into a giant prison? Yeah. I can just imagine you just build the wall and just segregating the entire country up.
So, but let's go King's Lynn. Oh, we can't. We're not in their district. Oh, where can we go? Thetford. Oh, okay, I'll go Thetford then. Okay.
Magic. Okay, so apparently, guess how many out of 7 adults had not left their home over the last week?
5 out of 7.
Apparently only 1 out of 7, 14% roughly, had not left their home. So people are still leaving their houses last week and this week. People are getting out and about still, which is mad. Apparently 4 in 10 adults said they visited a park and public green space to which they needed to have driven to. I don't know if you heard in the news, but the police had to get involved. What is that road called to Devon? I can't remember. But there was gridlocks. The people on the beaches were out. People are travelling hundreds of miles to go to Devon.
I'm Googling it to have a quick look what you're on about. Oh, there you go. Police send stern message about camper vans and holiday cottages in Devon.
Mad. People had to break things up, send people home. I believe fines were given out as well. People in assumption that just because they mildly eased the parameter, the lockdown rules, they could go on holiday.
Yeah, I'm now looking at it.
Yeah.
So, this has been a concern cross country, hasn't it? I mean, Hunstanton in Norfolk was on the news, on the radio. I think it was on Radio 1 just the other day. Concerned about people masses of people going to the beaches, and people were concerned primarily because it wasn't a case of people within the village or the towns of those beaches going to the beach. It was people travelling in, and the concern is that a large proportion of the population within those areas are retired individuals, near beaches and holiday places like that. It's a significant risk to them of illness. It's
very unfair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Local communities need to stick together, and people take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, going to the beach would be quite nice, but the beach is not like not like the Aurora Lights, Northern Lights. It doesn't happen every so often. The beach will still be there. After this is over, I wouldn't personally be able to live with myself if I went to the beach this weekend, for instance, and I was asymptomatic, and I unfortunately gave it to somebody who couldn't handle it.
This is the point, you are creating unsafe environments by travelling that far. I admitted to travelling somewhere the other day. I went very early in the morning, and I saw literally barely anyone. Every morning I go out for a run or walk. I get up at 7 o'clock, 7:30, and I go out and do my stuff, things like that. You're trying to avoid people. You build it as much as you can. You go out in the day. You went to a local park, didn't you, the other day, Charlie? How many people did you see? How many people did you bump into?
I saw one person, and we followed social distancing the whole time.
That's it. Did it go out of your way? Was it stressful? Did you have COVID anxiety? You didn't.
No.
You followed the rules and guidance. You might have wanted to go to the beach. You might want to go on holiday, but you can't. It's a bit of a fact of the matter, isn't it? You've got to keep communities safe.
The other thing is, I don't know if it's just like everybody else, but for me personally, because I know my immediate area, I feel like I know the risk factor more where I live, my immediate area, than I would if I travelled somewhere else. I feel confident walking around my village, knowing that I'm not going to catch COVID-19. But I wouldn't be able to say that if I drove to, I don't know, like Mile Cross in Norwich. Because I haven't done any research. I haven't watched the figures. I haven't seen what's going on down that way.
You haven't read the local papers. You don't know the local people. You haven't heard anything.
So I'd be confused why people would go that way and travel to a different area they don't know much about. Or they might do, to be fair, but not enough. Because you're just putting yourself at risk and others at risk. And it's like we said, it's about battling that potential second peak.
Yeah, that's it. The only minor side to obviously less travel when it happens is less pollution.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen those photos of China?
I have indeed. It's scary. For people who are listening, I can't remember what city it was. It might have been the capital. Just Google low pollution levels change in the lockdown. You'll be able to see the difference in smog. Basically, I don't know if that's the the correct word?
Yeah, no, that's the correct word. Smog pollution within Wuhan, China, and Shanghai has dropped to a level that it hasn't been for about, I think it's 5 or 6 years.
It's mad, and I've seen a handful of news stories about the government and even local businesses. I know our local business, as YMCA Norfolk, have realised how much extra travel that we do, and they're thinking about the future of travelling, working from home, and planning to save our environment even more, which I think is a wonderful thing that's come out of lockdown.
I mean, if you haven't done the research on global warming, we're not telling you to do it. But one thing that I think nearly everybody can say is that the amount of wildlife that have come back to areas where there previously was none. I mean, the amount of deers I've seen. Like what dolphins have come back to areas where they were previously fished out of. It's just amazing. I mean, there's that village in Scotland that got taken over by goats. It's people are saying like Mother Nature's taking it back, but it's not. It's feels nice, and it's although it's a tragic way to prove it, it's proven that the Earth can be recovered from global warming.
It's true. A random fact the other day is white-tailed eagles have been reintroduced into the Isle of Wight. We've spoken a lot about the Isle of Wight today, and the first one had a long trip and it came to Norfolk the other day. They tracked its flight pattern.
Oh, nice.
It went back to the Isle of Wight. They're not classed as breeding pairs. Oh. Well, they are endangered. They're not in this country anymore. The first ones have been in the Isle of Wight, but they don't count as official ticks yet. You've got to wait for, I think, a second or third generation to officially see them and put them on your bird list. But they're still very nice to see if you see them. They've had one over Norfolk.
Nice.
Far away. There we go.
Beautiful.
And inflation has dropped to its lowest level in almost 4 years.
Rupert, do you want to explain what inflation is to all of the people out there that don't know?
Inflation, I believe, is a currency increase of household products and stock.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like every year, you notice that prices go up in shops and on your bills and stuff like that. If that has not gone up, that means that we are doing well.
Yeah, it is. It's an economic term that generally means rising of prices, and it's an all-time low. So fuel is cheaper.
Oh, fuel is well cheap. Oh.
Apparently, shoes have been dropped quite to a good price. Apparently, the retail shoe market has lowered its prices quite a lot. So, if you are looking for some foot prisons, now is your time.
I'm literally googling now because I'm a size 14, so buying shoes bankrupts me every month.
Wow, every month. How many shoes?
Every other month.
That's a different story.
If you go back to when I used to work at housing, I got addicted to shoes for a little while. I'm now looking to see. Oh, they are actually quite cheap. Yeah, you're right.
There you go.
Thank you for telling me that. I mean, fuel prices the other day. I didn't even 99.9 per litre. That was the most exciting part of my day that day.
Had it gone down below?
Yeah,
no, it hadn't.
Yeah, it was. Sainsbury's.
Next time that happens, send me a photo. If you're listening to this podcast now and you see it, take a photo and send it to us right now. It's incredible.
That's historical. That's the most important thing for that was.
Okay, good news stories, Charlie. We need to power through.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, we missed VE Day. Did we? We missed it?
No, we missed it in the sense that we didn't talk about it, but it still happened.
What's VE Day, Charlie?
It's Victory Day, the day that the unconditional... Oh, no, we did talk about it. I remember you saying it's the unconditional surrender during World War II.
8th of May, 1945. Incredible. VE Day choir surprised the elderly online in social distance parameters. I think we did actually say this because I said over 1 million people are reported as volunteers in lockdown.
Yep.
Okay, local news. I've got 3 things. The Food Bank network has increased by 43% to food parcels all across Norwich and Norfolk. They have been doing incredible work with over 1,000 bases. Unbelievable.
Okay. Chuck
Good news.
Another good shout out. The bulletins from Norwich Bulletin, Great Yarmouth Bulletin, West Norfolk Bulletin, Brecon Bulletin, doing incredible work of signposting those vulnerable and those professionals to the appropriate services that are still active. It's great not just to see what we're up to, but to see what other non-for-profit and other agencies are up to keep people safe.
Perfect. I like it. In your Premier League news, I think teams have started training again, and Norwich FC have been getting their players to videos and motivations to charities and businesses. I know we had the privilege of Kenny McLean giving us a little motivation, and they've been also giving out free shirts and cakes to boost the confidence of NHS workers, staff and hospitals.
Beautiful.
In gaming news, UEA residents and studiers are not currently on campus. But don't worry, because they have recreated their entire campus and university on Minecraft.
And if anybody is interested in that, we will post a video of it. Oh, not a video, a picture of it.
We will indeed. That is something we will do. Unbelievable techers. I was introduced to Minecraft the other day, and I've never I've never been involved in such a calming experience, and it is incredibly addictive.
Got it here. Got the bird's eye. This is incredible.
It's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That was my input on that done.
That was my input on that as well. Well, we have covered lots of things. After all that, Charlie, how are you feeling about the roundup of the week?
I'm good. I've got one game for you though.
Oh, hit it!
So, if anybody knows me and Rupert, you'd know that Rupert is a very sporty individual. I'm a very nerdy individual. And if you ask me a lot of sports questions, I'd probably get them wrong. You ask Rupert a lot of sports questions, you'd get them right. But if you ask me a lot of gaming questions, I'd probably get them right. And if you ask Rupert a lot of gaming questions, he'd probably get them wrong. So, to test this theory, we're going to play a game. I've picked a few well-known games. In there is. I'm going to ask you something like, "What's the rarest helmet you can get? What's the rarest car you can get? What's the most powerful boss?" And I'm going to see if you can guess it or get it right, or see if you even know it. Okay.
I like this. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to put my game show music back on.
Love it.
Okay. We will start with the first one. Okay, so anybody that's played Halo knows that within the Halo universe, and especially on multiplayer online, the most important thing you go after is the helmets. There's certain helmets in these games that when you're wearing them signify that you're a scarily good player. Rupert, inside Halo 5, what is the rarest helmet you can get?
I really don't know. Is it like a Guardian helmet, or is it like a War Master helmet, something like that?
The Guardian one is partial, right? But the game is called Halo 5. Halo 5 is literally around Guardians. So, do you want me to tell you?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first one is called an olive helmet. Now, the olive helmet is the rarest item in Halo 5. These aren't exactly confirmed, so people might dispute this. The olive helmet is only available when you get if you get a map that you have created in Halo 5 matchmaking. Okay, it's the only time you can get it.
Wow.
Okay.
Like that.
Let's take you on to a game you've been playing quite a lot of. Okay.
Oh no.
What is the rarest card you can get in Rocket League?
I haven't the foggiest. Is it expensive? The rarest car.
There was only one way to get one of these cars.
What type is it? Or is that the one you want?
There is a make. So if you could guess the make, that'd be good. But if you can guess if you can guess the type of make as well. So
Mercedes, Nissan.
Oh
Ford.
No, not like that. I mean, like
I'm joking, mate. I'm having you on.
Do you know it?
Is it Octane?
No. Is that the only car you know?
Might be. Who knows?
It's called a Beta Nugget. Okay, and of course, the name suggests you can only get this car if you played the beta version of Rocket League.
No.
Yeah, and as you know, Rocket League's been out for years, so you know. Okay, I've got. Name me the top 3 rarest items you can get in World of Warcraft. I put top 3 because there's no rarest item, and I don't want somebody to email me and turn this into a massive argument. There's actually a top 10, but I don't want to do top 10 because it's not fair on you.
I've seen people or heard people fighting over like some face stuff, like a patch or paint.
You've got to name the items to get the point.
Is one of them like, it won't be called a pirate patch, but
No.
I've
I've actually googled this. Some of these I don't think I'm going to be able to pronounce, so I'll give it a go. So,
is there a tiger thing? I don't know.
no. Okay, so the first one is the Spirit of Summer. Now I don't even know what that is. I can just see it there. The next one is the Timolane's Thylactery.
What?
I don't know what that is either. And the last one is a Chromatic Sword. Chromatic Sword, which I assume is a sword that is chrome. Now
that would make sense.
Yeah. Okay, next one. What is the top 2 rarest Fortnite skins you can get?
What? Is it like a knight? Is one of them a knight's uniform?
Maybe.
I don't know what it's called. The Dark Knight. Does he rise?
You put 2 different skins together there.
No, am I? That was a guess. What is it?
You're missing the word on each one. So this is a top. I think this is a top 10. I only went for the top 3, but in that top 10, you've got the Black Knight, the Skull Trooper, the Galaxy Skin, the Renegade Raider, the Reaper, Dark Voyager, Aerial Assault Trooper, and a Double Helix. That's only 8, but yeah.
Jeez. Mate, I'm impressed with myself.
You're getting there. I think if we played this game in like 3 months' time, you probably would have got one of those. I'm not going to lie. Okay.
What do you mean, actually have the skin, or just understand the question?
I think you would have been able to answer. Give me at least one of those points. Okay, this one you might be able to answer because these are actually car names. Okay. Give me the top one. Give me the name of one of the most expensive cars in GTA 5 online.
Is there a Veyron or is there a Tesseracty car, something like that?
Yes, number 1, the Pegasasi Tesseract.
Is it like a big white car?
I have no idea, but that was a good job on that one.
Do you know, I played GTA when it first came out. I had it for 2 weeks, and I got bored of it and hated it so much. I went out and sold it and bought the new FIFA.
Well, you got the top one, so I'll give you that point on that one.
Yeah, I owned that car as well. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, last one. What is the most powerful? Okay, actually, let me give you a little bit of lowdown. So, Final Fantasy X, you might have played it, hopefully.
No.
Well, you're in trouble. Okay. The game itself, the overall boss, his name was called Sin. Okay. But Final Fantasy X, when you completed the game, has a lot of hidden bosses and a lot of hidden, I think they're called animes. Animes, demons that you can summon to help fight on your behalf. Now, with that in mind, what is the most powerfulest boss in the game of Final Fantasy X?
Penance.
You googled that. You just answered that straight away. Did you Google that?
I did.
Yeah, as I say, you answered that with no.
I'm looking at it. What on earth is it?
Penance is the most powerful super boss in Final Fantasy X. Okay.
It looked weird.
It has, I believe, if I remember rightly, it has the ability to kill you with an actual ability called Penance, which is an instant kill weapon, instant kill attack.
What?
Yeah, it takes an entire squad and then some to win. But yeah,
this thing looks terrifying.
It is. It's a very scary boss.
What on earth? This is men. I'm just looking at images. It looks. I'm not having that. That is a. What kind of a question is that as well? What do you play it on? DS?
What, Final Fantasy X? Well, they released the remake on PS4, didn't they?
Oh mate,
if you've never played a Final Fantasy before, I highly recommend you play Final Fantasy X.
I've never played Final Fantasy, mate. I might have to give it a go.
You might enjoy it.
I might,
What I'll do is I'll give you one more that I know you can answer because you actually fought it and killed it. And if you answer it, you win the game. What is the most powerfulest boss in Minecraft? Now, you've actually fought it, so if you don't remember what it's called...
What? I've fought it?
It's the most powerfulest / the last boss in the game. At the end, the credits come up on the screen.
No, I haven't. I haven't killed that. I haven't killed the boss.
Oh wait, no, I thought you was Chris. Anyway,
Brilliant!
If you can answer it anyway, you can win the game.
Oh, I know there's a dragon somewhere.
That is the last point. That's the last word in its name.
I don't know. I just know it's a.
I showed you a portal, didn't I? At one of the bases of one of the young people that take part in our games. What was the portal called?
The end zone?
Almost. You got
the zone dragon? The end dragon?
I'll give you that. It's the Ender Dragon.
Ender, not Ember.
No, Ender. E-N-D.
No, that port, mate. That knowledge straight there.
Ender Dragon.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take the victory from you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I felt a little bit bad because some of the questions I asked you were like ridiculously difficult.
I literally got 3 right or something out of all of them. Well.
Okay, that's that. And like I said, guys, I'll upload a picture of the UEA Minecraft world onto our Instagram if you want to check it out. But the best thing to do is to go onto the news article because all credits go to the hidden people that built it.
Incredible, really.
Yeah. Okay,
well,
I'll pop back
that is the Friday Feelings podcast. We hope you're well. We've crunched through some statistics. They're just numbers. Please don't get bogged down in them. Staying in isolation does save lives. So please stay positive. We are not going to be here Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but we've scheduled some posts for you. So look forward to them. We've got a big social media plan and stay involved. And there's our Friday Feelings. Charlie, you got any plans for the weekend?
Relaxing. I do want to quick shout out. We will have one gaming session on Monday because we do have a volunteer, or maybe 2. So there will be a gaming session at 1 p.m. till 3 p.m. only. So
well, there we go. Something to look forward to. Sink your teeth into. This Sea of Thieves game is turning out to be a rather good bounty.
Good use there, man. Good job.
Right, well, that's Friday Feelings podcast. I'm feeling good. And that's it for today.
Cool. See you later, guys.